innovative content, global audience.
Hello, good morning, viewers. A very warm welcome to you. Yes, from our SRO TV studio here in London, the world's capital city. My name is Princess Kessy, and this is Wake Up Nigeria. Yes, we have a lot of news from our national dailies today. And now, Senate is saying that as a first timer, you're not supposed to contest for Senate President, Deputy Speaker, or the Deputy or Speaker. Now, what's your take on this? Is it by how far, or like how far the journey, or how well the journey is? I don't understand that move, but I don't know how Nigerians are reacting to that. That is why these are some of the headlines we'll be discussing today. And of course, we have here also the swearing in of some judges today. Now, Abuja is agog as regarding to that. And of course, there's still this, party tussle between APC and PDP over the president's academic records that was released yesterday. A lot of issues here and there. And then also we have, I know the president also submitted some names for screening. So we'll see more ministers coming on board. And of course, we're still mourning those who lost their lives yesterday at the illegal refinery. I just hope the numbers do not increase. As of today, we've seen 18 people. That's quite a number. Anyway, welcome and good morning. I have with me, as usual, the review today again, one and only Muhammad Sani to join us this morning to review some of this paper. And of course, we'll go. Sani, how are you? Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Kessy. How are you?
Today, I'm fine. How is Nigeria today?
Nigeria is fine. How is your place?
I'm fine. We can't complain. Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yes,
Yeah,
so we're
well
going to
done.
start this morning, and we have a lot of issues this morning. And there was a major incident that happened in Lagos yesterday. I couldn't see the video. I think because I don't have the heart to watch something like that. You see, a lot of things are happening in Nigeria, but the one I saw yesterday, that is quite somehow I couldn't even look at it. These are some of the issues we'll be discussing today, and what you think and view as your opinion on the Nigerian police force. What should be done about that? Anyway, we'll move on quickly to the first newspaper we have. We're going to kickstart this morning with the blueprints. And these are some of the stories we have coming from Blueprint this morning. We have here the main headline says CGN to justice, judges don't allow technicalities stand in the way of justice. And the writer says charges judicial officers to resolve lingering cries in courts. Tinubu tax NGI on perception of judiciary, laws EFCC on anti-grift war. Says my administration determined to bring corruption to its nail. Now, all these stories on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Army orders probe into alleged poor feeding of troops. And that story is on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we'll have this morning VAT removal will push down diesel price, and this is coming from Malagi, and that story is on page 19 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Lagos, two confirmed dead in LASMA official driver scuffle, and that story is on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says 62 million Nigerians to benefit from cash transfer, 1.5 from Iyaloja Fund. This is coming from Beta Edu. And there's a story here that says poverty alleviation key to development. This is coming from Malagi, and that story is on page 6 as well of the Blueprint newspaper. We have a story here that says it's cheaper constructing concrete roads. This is coming from Umahi. Umahi insists, and that story is on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper. We also have a story here that says ex-NCPMC Baffa dies, and that story is on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we saw a story here. Pastor dies, three others injured in Benway building collapse, and that story is on page 15 of the Blueprint newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from the Blueprint this morning. So I want us to discuss. Okay, there's a story here as well that says Von DG tackles Atiku over Tinubu's Chicago Varsity certificate role, and that story is on page 8 of the Blueprint newspaper. Now, Sani, what do you make of this first story? We know today they are swearing in judges at the Supreme Court, and there are a lot of them, quite a number. I caught somebody this morning, a colleague of mine, and they said they're on their way to that ceremony. And now there's the major head, the CGN is telling the justice and judges don't allow technicality stand in the way of justice. Charges official judicial officers to resolve lingering cries and courts. Now, what's your take as they come on board today?
Well, first, I want to facilitate with the families that lost their loved ones at the illegal refinery. This is actually as a result of the hardship in the country. People tend to do a lot of things
No,
that they know.
I was going to bring you to that story anyway, but since you already started that, because that's one of the major headline also here. The pregnant woman too was involved, and they say that they were actually scooping the petroleum product before the explosion.
That's really sad. Having a pregnant woman involved and a very painful way to actually die because through fire it's actually really sad and really painful. That's why I wanted to facilitate with the family first to condone with them on the lives of their loss of their
Because
loved
that
ones.
headline is quite lengthy from the Nigerian pilot. So I was thinking we'll discuss that later. But since you already started,
Oh,
we should. Mhm.
okay, no problem. I just want to send my heartfelt
Yes,
condolences
it's
to them
quite
first.
sad. It's quite sad. I even
Yeah,
heard that a lady that is supposed to wed just in few weeks or so is among. So these are
you
some
can
of the
see
issues.
these are really sad. It's actually disheartening to start a day with stories like this.
But
I
you could
can't
see
wait for the time that
all over the papers today, Sunny. It's just so heartbreaking to see that you don't go through a paper without killings, die, killing. You know, different stories like that.
it's sad. It's sad. I pray we get to the time that when you open your newspaper, you read stories that it would really make your day go happy rather than feeling moody and sad the whole day. But well, we keep praying and we keep working to see that Nigeria turns to a better place that we all can be very proud of and very happy to live in. Well, let me go on the appointment of the judges. The judiciary is actually a very, very key arm of the government since it's actually um, it's very key when we have issues that have to do with litigations. We need to have the credible people there, people that would not bow down to any form of pressure, any form of corruption. It would always deliver justice as it's supposed to be. So it's actually very key. I know the president would definitely do what needs to be done because these are very, very important places. Talking about the judiciary, we still have elections and tribunals still going on. We still have a lot litigations going on. So I just pray that we get the right people there, people that would work with all sincerity and fear of God, that would actually pilot the affairs of the judiciary the right way.
And then there's a very disturbing story here as well that says army orders probe into alleged poor feeding of troops. You know, Sunny, I don't understand Nigeria as a country. Now, we have troop. These people are supposed to be out there, maybe working, tackling insecurity here and there, and then we are not hearing issues of poor feeding. Now, somebody that is not well fed or is not okay, how do we expect them to go and even tackle, or fight for all the security or safety of others?
This is somebody that is actually sacrificing his life, going out there to fight
Every
for the, yeah, fight for the
should
country, make sure that
should food
citizens
even
are.
be a problem?
Yeah, food shouldn't be the problem at all. In fact, what should be obtainable is doing extra, just to make sure that their morale is high. They are highly motivated to go out there to do what is supposed to be done. But having soldiers that are not properly fed, going to fight bandits, going to fight people in the crisis areas is disheartening. The military should do something about that. I know their accounts are not being subject to probe, but the people in charge of feeding should actually step up and do the right thing. At least soldiers are sacrificing their lives, leaving their loved ones to go out there and be in the field is not easy. Just recently, I saw a picture of a soldier in Buningwari area. I felt for him. I saw how the soldier was just trying to see that they do their best to secure the lives of Nigerians, and these people should be properly.
Okay, network issue, I guess. Um, I don't understand Nigeria as a country. I don't know what to do with this. The kind of news we hear from that country on daily basis. Sometimes it's quite worrisome to see that you are in a country and then you see people not feeding well. That is one. And then we're not talking about the military, the troops who are actually out there. I know there was a time I saw this, video online where if you see the water they were drinking, it's disheartening. Now, these are people who have chosen or taken the path of going to protect the country, or fighting here and there, and of course as well leaving their families, leaving everything they have behind, and at the end of the day this is what they get. It's really sad, and we hope that the army, like the news here, that they are going to army to order probe into alleged poor feeding of troops. These, I will hope that they will do that as quick as possible. And we're having a little bit of network issues with Sunny here, and hopefully he's going to join us again. But before then, there's a story here as well that says 62 million Nigerians to benefit from cash transfer, 1.5 from Iyaloja Fund. This cash transfer, I don't understand federal government. Where do you transfer this money to? Do you just pick people accounts? How do you even know the people who are in need of this money? Or you just go to the bank, you start transferring money here and there, or there are specific people that you're supposed to transfer this money to, and how are we sure that the money will even get to the people in need, the people who actually need this money? Anyway, we see how that works out. And the story here that say three dies, others, one pastor dies, three other injured in Benway building collapse. That's quite a sad one, and we condole with the family. It's quite a sad one. This is one of the reasons I think that with the way buildings are collapsing in Lagos, Abuja, and other places, I think our engineers, our contractors need to do more to make sure that they do the right things when constructing or building. The foundation is the key. Okay, we move quickly to the next newspaper we have here, and that is the Daily Times. Now, these are some of the stories making waves coming from the Daily Times. We have here scandal rocks presidential villa over Tinubu's US educational records. Arewa Berogi reacts. Moms the world from presidency. Now, this story is the major headline of the Daily Times. And also, we have here Lalong raises committee to resolve complaints over NSITF. And another story here says reps deputy speaker funds FG, Lord's MG, Labour for adverting strike. And that story is on page 5 of the Daily Times newspaper. There's a story here as well that says, oh, your APC gloom over lack of reward by Abuja. And that story is on page 11 of the Daily Times newspaper. There's a story here that says Tinubu replaces Nasir El-Rufai, seeks confirmation for additional ministerial nominees, and that story is on page 2 of Daily Times newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says DMO offer 150 billion naira sukuk bond for subscription at 1,000 naira per unitar. That story, it's on page 6 of the Daily Times newspaper. Now, these are all the stories we have coming from the Daily Times newspaper this morning. And there's a story here as well that caught my attention. There's another story here as well that say amid impeachment, mumbling, Akpabio tightens hold on power. Yes, we're used to these kind of things from the Senate. Of course, I saw Sariki's own, and we saw how all that drama played out. And there's a story here as well that says reps deputy speaker Lord's FG Labour for adverting strike. Even though some of us or some Nigerians are feeling that no, the strike should have they should have gone on with the strike to pass that message. But at least let's see what the next 30 days bring into the whole brings. At the end of the day, we see what government has to offer the people. But my pain yesterday, like what we did say yesterday, is that nobody's talking about the private sector. It's all about the government workers, and who is supposed to be the mouthpiece of the private workers. So they're still supposed to sit on the same salary that is not even able to cater for their transportation needs for like 2 weeks or even 1 week. So who is supposed to speak for that? Anyway, we'll see how that go. And then there's a story here as well that says Lalong raises committee to resolve complaints over NITF. That is a good move. That is the stories coming from the Daily Trust this morning. And we're going to kickstart, we're going to move to the Nigerian pilot. These are some of the stories coming from the Nigerian pilot this morning. We have quite a lot, and of course, sad stories as well coming from the Nigerian pilot this morning. And the Nigerian pilot we have here, the main headline says 18 persons perish. That is the main headline. And the rider says, from the pilot chair, we have 18 persons perish. NSCDC confirmed 18 dead, 25 rescued in Rivers illegal oil refinery explosion. Victims were said to be scooping petroleum product before explosion. That incident took place at an illegal refinery site in Iba community of Rivers State. The victims, including pregnant women, were burnt beyond recognition. All these stories are on page 8 of the Nigerian pilot newspaper. There's a story here as well that says police parade suspected killers of Justice Igbeta, and that story is on page 6 of the Nigerian pilot. Another story here says 7 persons rescued, 27 others still missing from boat mishap. And that story is on page 5 of the Nigerian pilot newspaper. There's a story here that says NCDC confirms 13,204 suspected dictatorial cases in Nigeria. And that story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. There's a story here that says secure immediate release of adopted court members, reps to IGP. And we'll have a story here that says deputy governor's impeachment, Ondo Assembly drag judge to NGC. That story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We also have a story here that says Benue community to visit Ebonyi towards ending boundary disputes. And that story is on page 7 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says DSP Peru gives additional 870 scholarships to university students. And that story is on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. We also have a story here that says Senate blocks first timers from contesting Senate presidency deputy. That story is on page 7 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. And there's a story here that says Senate asks Tinubu to bring supplementary budget on NG projects, and that story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from the Nigerian Pilot newspaper this morning. And there's a major story here, the main headline here: 18 persons perish. NSCDC confirms 18 dead, 25 rescued. And this was the story I was telling you about, Sani. You see that the victims were actually said to be scooping petroleum product. And when we have anything that would just apparently you're using a mental stuff to scoop, and somewhere might be the apparently there was a contact somewhere, spark or something that would have led to that explosion. And of course, because you already have the product exposed, once you have an explosion, you already know what the story will be. It's quite sad, and the most painful part is that I don't know why a pregnant woman also will be involved in this. It's quite really sad. And the most painful part is that victims,
It's really sad. Because
were beyond recognition. That is even the most painful part of the story. And there's a story here also.
it's exactly.
I really do not understand. I really do not understand our Senate though. But see the story here, Sunny, that says Senate blocks first timers from contesting Senate presidency deputy. Do you think that's a good move? Is it how far or how well? So because somebody just came, is their first time in the Senate, they cannot. Anyway, maybe this that's based on experience. Now, what's your take on that? Can you hear me, Sunny?
Yeah, my take is the reason behind this move should be. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me, Princess
Go
Cassie?
ahead. Yes, I can.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, okay, I think the reason behind this move should be what would actually enlighten us on why they want to do that. If it's based on technicalities to say, okay, first timers do not have the experience, you should take the first time to actually learn, and eventually, though we would actually want to have people that are really experienced just to know how to pilot the affairs of the National Assembly. The reasons other than that, then I don't support this. But for the sake of technicalities and experience, I think it's good to have first timers
Okay, Asani, your network is not quite friendly today, which is very sad. It's sad indeed. Yes, I'm thinking. If you ask me my opinion on that story, I don't know why they're saying we.
I think we should have
Go ahead, Sani.
experience.
Your
Based on
network
that,
is
is
not
actually
very strong
yeah.
today, though. Okay, Sunny. Now there's a story here that says secure immediate release of adopted corps members, rep to IGP. Now, a lot of people have the opinion that NYSC should be scrapped because somebody leaves your parent home, somebody has graduated, and then at the point of even trying to wrap up the whole thing, you go to another place to serve. Is either accident, kidnap, or and now they start demanding so much from the parents, which don't even have enough to feed. So, do you think NYSC should be scrapped? Hello, Sunny, are you there? Yes, if you ask me, I want to believe in my own opinion that NYSC should actually be scrapped because I don't know why somebody will finish school and they go through stress, or maybe they should go to their own state and serve. That is still serving Nigeria, right? Yes, it's serving Nigeria. You must not necessarily go somewhere far to the north, to the west, to the south, to the east to serve before we know that you're serving your country. So I'm of the opinion that it should be scrapped. We have seen cases where NYC students are kidnapped. Even the federal government did nothing about it. Some were killed because your parents could not actually afford the ransom money. And then we see others accidents. We see others, a lot of stories like that. So I don't know why a child will finish his school and go somewhere far to serve. They can actually serve. If you serve in your community, that is also you serving the government because this is one Nigeria. That is my sincere opinion, though. And then also, we have a story here that said Benue community to visit Ebonyi towards ending boundary dispute. That is something that it's a good move. We know over now, from my little experience, I know that boundary issues could actually lead to serious crisis if not well handled from the two communities involved. Could actually lead to war. I've seen that before in my state. So I think that is a good move to resolve the issue. And we say once again, we condole with the families of people who died in the boat mishap. It's quite sad. Or those that are still missing, we pray that we see them really soon. And then we'll move on quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that would be the Punch newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories coming from the Punch newspaper this morning. The major headline here says Tinubu's credentials. APC lampoons Atiku ex-VP said to submit documents in Supreme Court, and the writer says Atiku's journey to Chicago University a fruitless exercise. Ex-VP a loser, says APC. President's documents released by Varsity have vindicated us. PDP insists. All the stories on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Minister Tinubu picks Balaribe to replace Erufai, and that story is on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Mohbad police detain Naira Marley, and that story is on page 16 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Aye Datiwa Ondo Assembly asks CG to raise impeachment panel, and that story is on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says 2 killed as LASMA officials driver crash, LG office raised, and that story is on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. There's a story here that says 100 billion CGN bosses. Senate rejects CBN loans, warns Tinubu against illegal spending. And that story is on page 26 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says 17 independent discos get licenses to 10 operational. That story is on page 17 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have here 23 oil blocks failed to produce crude. This is coming from FG, and that story is on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. Now, these are all the stories we have coming from the Punch this morning. And there's a story here, we already know the issue of the certificate saga is no longer news as far as I'm concerned. We wait and see how that plays out at Supreme Court. The court, of course, will decide. And then there's a story here that is really disheartening. Is quite two killed as last mile officials driver clash. LG office raised. I couldn't see that video yesterday because I don't have the heart to, like I said. I don't know. You know, there is this trade cycle guy that had a scuffle with last mile officials. And funny enough, this man was carrying a woman and her children. So I don't understand why. I think the Lagos state government has a lot to do: sensitization, awareness, training. That is the word, training, on most of these last man officials in Lagos. Because if you see the way they tend to most time harass people, even if it is your right to pass a message to stop them, you should do it well. Now, you don't drag a steering with somebody that is on the wheel, or somebody that is already moving. You let go. If you don't, you're going to cause havoc, and that is what we saw yesterday in Lagos, which was quite disheartening. Some of these footages we cannot even bring here. And we hope that the Lagos state government will really do something about this very fast. These people, they don't care. They just stop you. Apparently, you broke the law. Fine, you broke the law. You need to have a discussion with the person. They should follow the due process, not struggling with somebody that is driving, or somebody inside the keke trying to beat traffic or whatever. So, especially when they are carrying passengers, and that was what we saw yesterday. Is quite sad. And also, I love the story here that says 100 billion naira CGN buses. Senate rejects CBN loans. Wants Tinubu against illegal spending. We don't need all the spending, even the palliative. Nigerians have been complaining. A lot of people are not getting the palliative, actually. So we don't know why they keep borrowing, they keep spending. It's better you put all these monies into use. Do something tangible, and let something come out of that, of this administration. It's too people are getting frustrated and tired already. You see people coming and they tell you they've not eaten since morning. Eating one square meal has become a problem, and at the end of the day, you see that Nigerians have been pushed to the wall. Then you borrow for what? So I think I back the Senate on this. Is this high time? That is actually what they are there to do, not just to sit and to raise motion. They should be stopping some of these loans, and they should be making some of these corrections as well, because they are actually the lawmakers, and that is a very good move. And then we saw a story here as well that says that it's quite a sad one, that says 22 drawn as boats capsize in Niger, 6 bodies recover. Once again, we'll condole with these families. And we'll move quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. These are some of the stories we have coming from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. The major headline here says, Senate amends rules. First timers can't contest for Senate president deputy. And that story is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says reps to probe 15.5 trillion naira pension asset, statutes of 10 trillion naira loan to government. And that story is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says 23 feared dead in KB boat mishap. That is quite a number, and it's sad as well. That story is on page 29 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We also have a story here that says nominations open for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize. And that story is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Pope suggests Catholic Church could bless same-sex couples. That story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We also have a story here that says We have cleared all passports blockage. This is coming from the Nigeria Immigration Service, and that story is on page 16 and 14 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We saw a story here that says Mubad, Naira Mali now in our custody, and that is coming from the police. And the story is on page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says Tinubu seeks Senate's confirmation of three new ministerial nominees. That story is on page 30 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We also have a story here that says pregnant woman, two children dies as last mark of a policeman struggle with driver in Lagos. That story is on page 20 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We have another story here that says pastor dies as church building collapses in Benue, and that story is on page 29 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We also have a story here that says Ondo impeachment, Ondo assembly direct CG to constitute 7-man panel on deputy governor, petitions NGC over federal court judgment ruling. That story is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Tinubu's documents, Chicago State University testifies in the disposition proceedings, and that story is on page 30 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. These are some of the stories we have coming from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Quite a lot from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And then I saw a story here as well that, I just feel like, I don't know, but if I am to be a governor in Lagos for a day, the first thing I would do is to scrap last month. I don't know what they're doing. I saw that story yesterday. Pregnant woman, two children, dies as last month policeman struggle driver in Lagos. For what exactly? I don't know. Is it that one killing here or the other? I don't understand, because you are supposed to collect money, or you're supposed to take a particular a charge from a fee from the person for disobeying a law, traffic law. Then you should do that in the confine of the law, not do something else. I don't think the Lagos state government is actually doing enough. We can't keep hearing last man doing this, destroying lives and destroying people on daily basis just to make sure that they deal with offenders. So if you want to deal with them, you should do it within the confine of the law as well. And there's a story here that I saw. Pope suggests Catholic Church could bless same-sex couples. I don't want to, it's my opinion though, I don't think that is a good one. No, they shouldn't do that. But if they want to, then I don't know. But for me, that is just my opinion. And there's a story here that says Naira Mali now in custody, police at least. But I still don't understand why the autopsy has not been released, because this will help and will go straight to the point. But anyway, the investigation team knows what they are doing, and Nigerians are actually keeping their fingers crossed. We hope that Mubad will indeed get justice at the end of the day. And we have cleared all passport blockage. That is a good one. And sometimes too, not just clearing. I think the Nigerian Immigration Service needs to do more. The issue of the crowd, a lot of people. So I think there's a way they can do this to reduce the stress. Somebody trying to renew their passport or get a new one. The stress is usually much, and we're gradually evolving into a digital world. So most of these things can be done without much stress. That is just my opinion as well. And then Tinubu seeks confirmation of three new ministerial nominees. We can't wait to see these people as well. So we'll move on quickly to Vanguard newspaper. These are some of the stories we have coming from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. We have here the May headline says, frontline troops, army probes claim of poor feeding. That story is on page 9. I've said it before. I don't know why somebody that you expect to go and fight should be hungry. Would they will not even punch them before they fall down. So if they are not feeding well, they are not eating well, I don't see reason why they should be at the front line fighting for anyone. Food should not be a problem for our troops, or water, or anything that will even give them the much needed energy. So if you are not able to provide this as well, that means the government or the military, they have failed. That is my opinion on that. And then we'll have a story here as well that says, why we killed retired Benue jurist, a gang member says. Is really sad. And the Pope suggests Catholic Church could bless same-sex marriages. That story is on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also saw a story here that says price of cooking gas up 70%. Operators expect rather further rise. And that story is on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says a new Senate rule restrain president deputy seats to ranking members. And that story is on page 25 of the Vanguard newspaper. Tribunal judgment, DSS arrest lady threatening suicide. Bomb attack on VP. Ganduje, lead judge, and Gwawan. And that story is on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. 8 abducted NYSC members still in captivities. Now, this is coming from the families. And church building collapses in Benue, kills pastor, injures 4 others. These are all the stories we have coming from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. It's quite a sad one to see that 8 adopted NYC members are still in captivity. This was what I asked earlier. What's your opinion, sincerely? Do you think that NYC should be scrapped? Like, if you ask me, that is my sincere answer. It should be scrapped. If you are, or maybe if you want to serve within your state, the places you're used to. I don't understand why you take a child from maybe Sokoto and you're throwing them to Enugu or somewhere, places they are not even used to, and then you throw another person here across board. It is not, is either one kidnap, accident on the way, or something. We can't keep losing the young people in the name of serving Nigeria. Let the leaders serve for once. That is what they are supposed to do. After all, they are the lawmakers. So I don't think it's wise. You see now that the families are not lamenting, and apparently they will be demanding so much that the families cannot even offer or to give, which is very, very sad. It is poor. It is disheartening as well. And also, there's a story here as well that says tribunal judgment, DSS arrest lady threatening suicide. Bomb attack on VP Ganduje. I don't understand what is happening in Kanu, but we do hope sincerely that very soon everything in that state will be all right. We have so much in this state, and one crisis could just cause a lot of issues, which we don't want to see. We already have enough issues in Nigeria. I don't think we want to add more from that state. Anyway, this is all we can take today on the newspaper reviews. I'm so sorry. Apologies, viewers, that my guest was not able to do much because of network issues. But of course, we'll discuss some of these headlines today. You can always drop your opinion and your comments as well for us to hear from you and know your thoughts. I'll see you again on the program tomorrow, hopefully, and God's willing. But before then, don't forget to hit on the notification bell. Follow us on our social media handles: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and X, and of course, YouTube. Subscribe, like, hit on the notification bell, and of course, invite somebody to the page as well. Leave us with your comment. While you are out there, it's a beautiful Wednesday morning. Please, I'll be nice to the next person standing beside you right now. Just put a smile on the face of somebody. Even if you just want, that's a long way to go. And remember that peace is priceless, so let's always give peace a chance. Obey the traffic laws, please. This was apparently what we saw yesterday in Lagos. Obey traffic laws so you don't have issues with the officials, please. And make sure you don't drink and drive as well. Be on water. Water is actually good for your health. And let's keep hope alive. I'll see you again tomorrow on the show. Have a very beautiful Wednesday morning.
SR